really, really excited about intellectual humility. How do we as responsible scientists, communicators, take on the responsibility of saying, hey, we got it wrong, and we're going to be transparent about it being wrong and correct it. I'm Dr. Janina Jeff, population geneticist, and host of In Those Genes podcast. People ask me all the time, what does a geneticist do? Do you clone things? I'm like, no. But the one that I got a lot, particularly from the Black community, was, should I trust those ancestry tests? And I began educating, just doing public speaking. And that's how my podcast started.
Hey fam, welcome to In Those Genes, a science and pop culture podcast that uses genetics to decode the lost histories and futures of African descendants.
We try to make it fun. This is like a variety show. We have sci-fi vignettes. We have musical excerpts to really tie our listeners into being excited about what we're talking about. Really, if we look at our genomes, it tells a beautiful story of humanity. And the podcast creates this personal safe space for you to learn about your identity. We think about the social determinants of health that everyone is talking about. And some of the early geneticists and eugenists developed this idea of race being a part of biology. And so what's really been captivating to me is like relying on the science to really disentangle fact from fiction. Is race a biological thing? It is not a biological thing. And right now we're in this era of precision medicine where it's extremely important for us to be able to distinguish between genetics and social determinants of health in our environment. How do we then take on the responsibility of saying, hey, we got it wrong? And I think when we start doing things like that and build transparency, we create this trust with the community that ultimately leads to great scientific findings. I wanted to make this show for the Black community. We use a lot of cultural terms. When we were trying to get funding, a lot of our funders were like, ooh, we need a broad audience. Can science be for everyone? And I'm like, well, science hasn't been for everyone, because if it was for everyone, I would not need to make this show. And so getting this award really validates my purpose. We actually don't have to whitewash our podcast. We have this creative freedom to tell the stories that we want to tell in our creative control.